Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here once again, and this is going to be another wrestling review. Right off the bat, before we get into it, as you can see, kind of a bit of a different lighting, and that's because I have a ring light now. Let me know if it's too bright, if it's not bright enough. Admittedly, it's one that you mount on your computer, so it's mounted on my laptop, and it's shining directly at me, so it does look a little bright to me. I was able to lower the brightness on it, but it still does look a little bright. It looks like I'm in a interrogation room with like the light shining right in my face, but I decided to get one because, admittedly, the lamp I'm using right next to me, admittedly, he does look a little wonky when it comes to the lighting. So I figured this one would probably be a better looking light. But yeah, let me know if it's okay. If it's not, if you want me to go back to the other lighting, just let me know in the comments. But now, we are beginning our look at some WrestleMania matches. So, kind of the outline I have scheduled for WrestleMania matches is that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we will look at a WrestleMania match. Starting next week, because as admittedly things got kind of there was a bit of a wrench in the works. So this week, I am reviewing. Well, the main two things I'm reviewing, aside from the other WrestleMania matches, are we're going to be reviewing Elimination Chamber, and there's a lot to talk about there, but we're also going to start our look at the Matrix movies. So that review is coming, hopefully, if not Tuesday, then Wednesday. But in fact, I think I'm just going to do it on Wednesday. I think Tuesday will be our next WrestleMania review. So, because of that, and you may be asking, Nigel, why are you holding off on the Matrix review? Excuse me. Why are you holding off on the Matrix review? Have you not watched the movie? Are you not feeling comfortable recording it? And the answer to that is, I've watched the movie. It's technically ready to review. I technically could review it now if I wanted, but there was one prop that I wanted to get kind of when it comes to the review, so that I could have it in the video. And admittedly, that's not going to be here for a couple days. It's supposed to be delivered on Tuesday, so hopefully it is. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck in traffic or stuck in transit. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of hold out for that. Now, admittedly, it was kind of a last minute thing. It's not super necessary for the video, and it might not add too much of anything to the video. But I figured, you know what, might as well have it for the review. So that's going to be coming later on. And so once that comes in, then we'll do our Matrix review and the elimination, chamber review. I'm convinced that once it turns a certain time of the night, I'm no longer able to speak. But yeah. So tomorrow we're gonna do our Elimination Chamber review. That's gonna be uploaded tomorrow on the channel. And actually, by the time it will be uploaded, I will be at Raw. Raw is, of course, coming to Buffalo, and so I will be there. I will be at the KeyBank Center. So if you happen to see me, at Raw, if you're watching this and you happen to glance over and look up, you have to do this. You're gonna have to look all the way up in the nosebleeds. But if you happen to see me, come stop by and say what's up. I'd love to talk with you. But now, without further ado, now that that's all plugged, now that we plugged everything we need to plug, now let's get into this review. So we're starting off our WrestleMania reviews in kind of an interesting way. Admittedly, there's probably a few WrestleMania matches that I have on the schedule that I could have did first, but I decided to do this one first, just because if you remember, I believe it may have been, and if not last year, then the year before, or it was when, and I reviewed the first of the Undertaker WrestleMania streak matches. So, the Undertaker and his WrestleMania streak, a WrestleMania streak, a facet of WrestleMania that really needs no introduction, a very legendary streak for the most part, for about 21 years, and for about 21 years, with the exception of a couple WrestleManias, mainly being 10 and WrestleMania 2000, and I had to remember what the other one was. Undertaker reigned supreme at WrestleMania, being undefeated, and so because we're still in the infancy of the streak, and because we've already reviewed Undertaker versus Jimmy Superfly Snuka. It's time now to review the second. So who wound up being 2-0? Or who made Undertaker 2-0 at WrestleMania? Why, Jake the Snake Roberts, of course. So let's see exactly what went down and kind of the story behind it. So I'm talking about WrestleMania 8 as The Undertaker battles Jake the Snake Roberts. So, as always, I am not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst or anything like that. Just a man who enjoys a good time. And admittedly, I had an okay time with this match at watching it. Now, is it necessarily a great match? No. Is it a good match? Admittedly, not really. Is it a bad match? No. It's just kind of... It's kind of almost there. And, of course, that's no disrespect to either The Undertaker or Jake the Snake Roberts, who have the absolute very best to do it, especially with Jake Roberts when it comes to his mannerisms and his storytelling. But how did it translate over to them when they faced off at the Showcase of the Immortals? Let's find out. Now, of course, if you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and disliked about the match. So, starting with what I liked, they do a good sense of world building on commentary. Now, the kind of lore behind it is Jake the Snake Roberts and The Undertaker were aligned at one point. They were allies, friends even, and until Jake turned on The Undertaker, or I believe on the funeral parlor is where he turned, or pretty much saying, never trust a snake. At least I think that was the storyline. It might be a different one where Jake says never trust a snake, of course, but yeah, it's led to this match. Jake turned on The Undertaker. Actually, it was a different one. I just remembered. So, Jake turned on The Undertaker, and so it's led to this match here. And this match, kind of a showcase for The Undertaker. And that's kind of how it was the previous year with Undertaker versus Jimmy Snuka. If you haven't already, go check out my review of that, where Jake pretty much is there to make The Undertaker look really strong when it comes to building that mythos of The Undertaker. At this point, Undertaker's only a couple years in. He's only about 2 years in. Not even, because we're obviously not in November yet, but only 2 years in or so with the Undertaker gimmick, and so still really evolving and still really building up that character, and building up his mannerisms and everything. So this is pretty early on, and definitely a showcase for The Undertaker, including The Undertaker sitting up from the DDT, which they put over on commentary that the DDT would finish him. There was nobody getting up from the DDT. That's back when you see, kids, if you can believe it, there was a point in time where the DDT was actually a finisher, and it actually finished people off. And Jake the Snake, of course, the master of the DDT, he invented the damn thing. But Undertaker sitting up and then eventually putting away Jake with a tombstone on the outside and then rolling him in for the pin. Which admittedly is kind of a little weird. Here it might be considered a con, but nevertheless, it was a little weird that the tombstone happened on the outside and then rolled him in. Normally, it's like, hey, I guess probably it's by today's standards, where if they do the finisher on the outside and then roll them in and then do the finisher in the ring and usually finish them off. The first one is kind of to get them woozy, and the second one is to actually finish them off. But nope, just one. It's one and done. Back when finishers were also one and done. And I know I'm kind of making fun of it a little bit, but it's interesting to see how finishers definitely were a lot more protected back then, and compared to nowadays, where where and it's crazy that if you finish your opponent off with one finisher, now it's kind of seen as an insult. But different times, especially with like finisher kickouts, where now if you finish off your opponent one time, now it's an insult. Now you're burying your opponent, and they'll say your opponent was buried. So it's crazy to think about. But yes, Undertaker finishes off Jake with one tombstone and puts him away. So in that regard, mission accomplished. I get and of course Paul Bearer is at ringside with the man who's kind of shaking the urn, trying to will the Undertaker on end. So I guess in terms of that, I suppose spectacle is perhaps the word, or to you, who's kind of the showcase in a way of the Undertaker, showcase or spectacle, showing off the Undertaker and having him kind of dominate against Jake. Jake obviously got his offense in, but the Undertaker, they showcase him by having him A, eat most of the offense, and B, deliver some back and ultimately put Jake away. So now the streak is 2-0. In terms of what I didn't quite like about the match, for starters, the match is pretty short. Admittedly, but we're about 11 minutes into recording. By the time, if you start the match the same time you started the video, and that's partially my fault because of the stuff I had to explain at the beginning. If you start the match at the same time you started the video, this video that I'm recording is still going on. By this time, the match is already over. It's about 6 minutes. It's a really short match. Now, Undertaker, he would go on to do longer matches later on in his career, but this time, I think having a shorter match immediately was probably for the best. But also, having the tombstone on the outside and then rolling him in, that was, I mentioned it before, but that was a little weird. But yeah, pretty much short. This match, almost in a way bordering on like a glorified squash, which again, to build the Undertaker up, to build the Undertaker up, I guess mission accomplished in that regard, but yeah, almost kind of a glorified squash in a way to put the Undertaker over. Which to get the Undertaker over, like I said, they were able to do that, but otherwise not a whole lot of meat on the bones. But sometimes that's okay. Even at WrestleMania, sometimes you're able to get away with it. In this case, they were kind of able to get away with it because it shows the power of the Undertaker. And this was, of course, after Undertaker was WWF champion. So Undertaker already off to a very hot start here in terms of building up his legacy and his mythos. Now, of course, later on here in the channel's lifespan, later on in the years, we're eventually going to continue with the streak and ultimately conclude the streak. Not sure exactly when that's going to happen, but we're going to stick with it. But for now, the Undertaker is 2-0, and admittedly, because I've watched like the Undertaker Shawn matches, I reviewed those for the channel, and then the Undertaker Triple H matches, reviewed those for the channel. Also, admittedly, we're kind of hopping back and forth in the timeline, but hopefully you'll stick with me for the long run. But nevertheless, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. If you did, please do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss an upload. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the match, my review of the match. Did you like the match? Did you like my review of the match? Let me know. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.